There's a knock at the door. You look out the window before opening. You see 3 men. They continue to knock aggressively. You retreat to your safe and remove your gun. Brave? Perhaps not. Stop the Threat starts now. Hello and welcome to Stop the Threat. My name is James Towle. On this week's episode, we're going to take you to the Rough Rider state of North Dakota for a reenactment of a home burglary, which we have entitled Home Defense. But first, let me introduce you to this week's panel. Don Clark. Don was with the FBI for 25 years and was a special agent in charge of the Houston as well as the New York office. Don is also a returning guest. Chuck Joyner. Chuck served with the CIA before joining the FBI. Chuck retired in 2011 and opened his own company called Survival Sciences. Marc MacYoung, another returning guest, is the author of 25 plus books on the subject of surviving in a high-risk situation and is a well-recognized court expert on cases involving violence. Welcome all. I'm going to do something a little different this week. Those of you who have been keeping up with the shows know that we did a show previously where a mother and 2 children evacuated into a safe room. The safe room happened to be in the attic of the home. A lot of us like that. Many of you contacted me about safe rooms, and I received a lot of emails from people with suggestions on safe rooms, and I'm going to pick out one of them, actually, that did such a spectacular job on his safe room. I thought I'd just spend a few minutes with you this morning, review what he did. What I'd like for you to do is if you don't have a safe room, think about having one. If you do have a safe room, you may learn something from this equipment list. So he began by upgrading his monitored alarm system. So when he purchased the home, it already had an alarm system in it. And he upgraded that system by adding front and back cameras, indoor camera with a panoramic view, window sensors on all ground floor windows, window sensors on the children's room, door sensors, glass break sensors, garage door sensor, two-way voice, cellular backup, and remote light switches, and an alarm siren. Additional to that, and I hope you're taking notes, 3M security window film on all lower floor windows. It's something I hadn't thought about.
Oh, yeah.
He upgraded the locks on the front and back as well as the garage door. He added a keyless door lock, a bar to prevent the sliding glass door from opening, and a hardwire phone for alarms and emergencies. That's just in the house. So now let's just go straight to the safe room. The safe room, he replaced the hollow core door with a solid door. That's the first thing I think any of us would do anyway, right? He replaced the existing hardware with 4-inch screws as opposed to the 1 or less screw that is normally there. He added a keyless deadbolt, added brass lock and door guards to the deadbolt and the door handle. And what I really like so far is he put a peephole in. Oh, hey, sometimes the obvious is a pretty good idea, right? Peephole, boom. And also a security door bar. He hardwired a phone line to the safe room, hardwired it. He had a biometric gun safe added to it with a 9mm pistol in it. Extra ammo. He had a window escape ladder. He's on the 2nd floor. And he put that ladder in because he didn't know whether the house might catch on fire, okay? But he did have a fire extinguisher as well. He had an extra set of car keys with an alarm fob, a taser, and pepper spray. Now here's his plan. Now, you're gonna love this. It's a great plan. Fall back to the safe room with the kids, deadbolt the door, press the alarm buttons on the home alarm, number 1, and the key fob for the cars. So, I mean, there's enough noise going on here to attract someone from space now, okay? I mean, that's a lot of noise going on. Retrieve the gun, crouch behind cover, dial 911, and stay on the phone. And you have alluded to that in other series. If the intruder makes it to the door and tries to get in, use voice intimidation. I have a gun, leave now, the police are on the way. I really like voice intimidation. I think that's very important, that there should be a show, and maybe I'll do a show on just that. Now, that's what he sent me. I like it. The only thing I didn't hear from him was whether or not he had water. And his particular situation, I believe it was a second floor bathroom, so he wasn't concerned with water. But if you put in a second floor safe room, you want to consider water. And one of the reasons why you might want to do that is because if you dehydrate, and you will under stress, the first thing you will lose is your vision. Any of us that shoot know the first result of dehydration is the loss of vision. So I added that you should probably do that. The other thing I liked was having a safe word that you would give law enforcement so that when they come into the house, you don't surrender that safe room until you agree on whatever that safe word was. Sky is blue, my wife is mad, whatever the safe room is. Have a word to give to law enforcement. If you don't have a safe room, then I would say you would need to have maybe 3 ways of escaping from your home and somewhere to meet later. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about safe rooms. Don't go away. Welcome back, viewers. I know that was a lot on safe rooms, and I really want to get to the reenactment, and I'm going to show it to you all at once. We're not going to break it up. But if you'd like to know more about what this particular individual had for his safe room, hashtag me, hashtag stop the threat, email me, and I will send you a list of what his equipment was, and I'd like to discuss more with you with what your list might be or what you'd like to add to his list. But that said, let's watch what takes place in this scenario.
You were right. No one's around. Nice.
Told you, it should be easy. Turn in here.
There's a car in the driveway. You sure no one's home? Only one way to find out. Hello?
See? No one's here.
Yeah, all right, come on. Crap.
Hey man, I told you, nobody's inside.
Just in case. Not worried about shooting anyone, are you? Keep it running.
You came to the wrong house today.
Well, again, this is real. We didn't make this up. You know, let me just ask you this. 1, 2, 3, when do you call 911? As soon as possible, right? What was the delay here? We got a hero complex going?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
There's so many things wrong with this.
All right, where do you want to start?
Lack of communication, waiting in ambush, right? That is going to get turned against him in court, number one.
You think that would get turned against him in court?
It can.
Yeah?
Very much so.
I mean, I might not have been standing up. I would have probably preferred a crouching position, but you know, we're talking about tactics here.
Personally,
But,
I prefer shooting from behind cover.
that
Standing
would-
out and going, hello everybody, shoot me.
Yeah.
I have problems
And
with
that was
that.
funny because he was behind cover initially, or at least
And he
concealment,
left it.
and then he steps out
Right,
to
right.
engage.
Right.
Right.
See, my voice can carry very, very well,
You came to the wrong
and I don't need to walk up and present a target. So there's a couple of problems here.
Go, Don. I can see it weighing on your mind.
Okay.
There's a lot, yeah, there are some problems there, and I think ego is a word that I would choose for a lot of people who would sit and be in that position and figure, I'm going to take charge, and particularly in today's world. You know, I can't see a reasonable person doing that. You got telephones, you got all of the other types of electronic devices to get somebody there just like that and leave the door closed. But if you got that ego get to you and decide, I'm going to do this or that, that's the results.
Yeah.
And again, stop instead of leave.
I agree with that. Another observation I made, though, and I'm going to leave this with the viewers because we're going to take a quick break, is that did it seem to anyone else besides me that these were not burglars? They've got guns. These guys are professional crooks. When we come back, we'll pick that up. Welcome back, viewers. We've seen the reenactment, and we've also seen that there's a lot of things in that reenactment that we would like to take apart. Given the fact that we may not have time to do that, give me a few ideas. What could be better?
Everything could be better. But one of the things that jumped out at me is, I think people have the tendency to want to be dirty Harry. And if you're in that situation, if you're in a shooting situation, everything you say and do will be scrutinized. You don't want to be making the macho comments, you picked the wrong house, because now that's going to be used against you later, that you're the aggressor as opposed to the defender.
That's really a good point, because that'll come up in court, won't it?
And again, we're talking about safe rooms, but this guy is aggressing to the intruders.
Right.
That's going to become an issue.
Right. Don?
To me, it's simple. What happened to 911?
What happened to 911?
That's the thing in today's world, you know, because the citizen, even if they're trying to do the right thing, they may end up in the wrong end of the right thing with guns and all of the other things. So how about call somebody real quickly and tell them you need
He
them?
had time.
That's right.
He had time to go get a gun. He had time to make a call.
That's right, and do it.
And as you have said in the past, to leave it open so that they have at least voice as to what's taking place. And at that time, saying some silly remark like you've come to the wrong house will probably hang you in court later.
Well, let's also look at this from the standpoint of, if you're going to spend money for expensive stuff, I'm a really big fan of video and communication doorbells. So when they're pounding on the door, he didn't answer.
Hello?
If he had just, don't want to open the door, fine. Push the button. What do you want? That's an amazing form of
I mean,
communication.
it'd have to be a glass door. He looks out there. You see three guys, and you immediately going to profile them whether you want to or not. You're going to go, this is wrong.
There's a lot of mistakes that happen.
So call 911, get my weapon, and And do you come back and face them? Or do you get to a defensive position and wait for them to come to you?
Right.
Yeah.
Retreat and communicate.
It's your house. You know your house better than anybody else. So that's on your turf.
Right, so you go toe-to-toe with them in the hallway, everybody gets shot,
Yeah.
and in fact, he ends up, just to skip forward a little bit, he ends up driving himself to the hospital. We saw that, right? So,
I was wondering why he was driving.
yeah,
That
he was going,
explains
he
it.
drove himself to the hospital. So we have a over-ego,
Yes.
macho type who wants to statically stand there and exchange lead with 3 guys. Well,
That's right.
at least 2 of them anyway.
Right, and by the way, he's driving while leaking.
Yeah.
There's this problem about like loss of blood kind of affects your consciousness.
Yeah.
So now, not only do you have a guy who's been shot, but there's a really good chance of him being in an accident too.
And hurting someone else.
Right.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But a lot of that kind of situation is just during ego.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm
it
going to
is.
tear
Yeah.
it down, and that's
I
it.
absolutely
Yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about an area, I'm not going to say that, but there was way too much ego involved here. And there would have been so many other ways to solve this, including, hey, there's 3 guys out there. I have a gun, fall back or go out the back door. And I
Sure.
mean, what are they going to take from me that maybe law enforcement will show up and help me out here?
That's
somebody
right.
knocks
You don't have any
Exactly right.
backup.
Right.
That's
Somebody
exactly right.
knocking on your door, you can communicate with them first and foremost. Right? His not dealing with him in the first time, first contact bothers me.
Gotta go. Hey, we'll be right back. We have a lot more to discuss and not enough time to do it, but come back. Thanks for coming back, folks. This has been a pretty unusual reenactment in that everybody gets hurt here, no one gets out of this clean, and there were better things to do. But I don't want to dwell on that. But certainly one of them would be, why did he back the car in the driveway? I mean, would that be a,
Load and
we
escape.
know that we're going to put something in the trunk, get it closer to the door. They were probably looking for the safe, therefore they knew about the safe. And that's what leads me back to the fact that I think we were dealing with professional criminals here. We're not dealing with 3 guys who have nothing better to do. Okay?
That is
Everybody want
possible.
to agree on that part?
Yeah.
That is
All right.
possible.
I agree.
All right, so
Yeah.
what could have gone better here? 911 would have been good.
911.
Finding cover would have been good.
Right.
Going out the back door would have been good.
Everything would have been better than possibly than what took place.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options. The other thing is when you're talking about home invasion, something to really keep in mind is most of these houses are specifically targeted. And one of the biggest problems that nobody wants to talk about is, what is your kid doing? I mean, this is the thing. What are your children into? And I say teenagers and children, but are they involved in something that has drawn attention from a professional? And that's one thing that people forget is, why are they there? Is your kid selling drugs? Has he crossed
Well,
somebody? Has he done that?
there certainly could be a lot of deeper issues here, which we don't know about. But, you know, with only a couple of minutes left, how do you want to leave the audience? What should we impart to you folks at home that would make you feel more comfortable in the situation?
Well, mine is that, particularly in today's world, is that don't try to do this yourself. You know, there's too many opportunities to call somebody, to text somebody, to email or something, or just be quiet.
Get some
Don't
help.
try to be
John
a
Wayne.
Superman
And that
or
comes
the
back
worst
to
of that.
ego.
Don't do it. Yes,
You know,
exactly.
call back.
Don't
The
do
other
it.
thing is you have to come up with truths that make you look good.
And that's where I want to
faster.
go next. What's going to take place in court here?
Right.
How is this going to go down in court?
He aggressed, he did all these things that he could have avoided, and the prosecutor, if he decides to follow this case, is going to be able to turn everything he did against him.
Yeah, I'm going to say he almost invites the bad guys in so he can shoot them. Did you get that feeling?
Yes, that is a possibility.
Yeah, and then he kind of walks out of the house and they're all laying there.
I tell you what, the prosecutor's going to have a tough case, you know, because for the person that says, hey, they robbed my place, but
Right.
look what this person did.
Right.
And it's going to be tough
If
do.
you go to trial, I
Yes.
can also see some sympathy going on here
Yeah.
for the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because it was
Right.
like you reeled him in to shoot him.
That's right.
And,
Yeah.
Which is the problem with the Castle
Yeah.
Doctrine and how they're prosecuting these things.
Yeah.
They're saying, look, you set a trap, you didn't communicate, you aggressed. It can turn very, very badly against you if you cannot say, I did this, this, and this, and this to avoid it.
Right.
And see, in today's world, you know, in court, if you're going into court, people are smart now. You know, people are really smart, and they were smart years and years ago, but there are different types of
I gotta
techniques
go,
now,
Don.
and that's
I
it.
gotta go,
Okay.
Don. Thank you very much for tuning in this week. I'd like to continue this conversation with you, and if you'd like to continue it with me, #StopTheThreat, and we can carry it on further, and you can get a copy of all of the things that took place in the safe room. Gotta run, be safe, be trained, be alert.